Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Random Review Series D Bougie 86 here again. And the film I got for you guys today is a film from 2014, and it's the latest release from Intervision. Of course, if you don't know who Intervision is, it's a sub-label of Severin. And they release a lot of interesting films. Mostly, when they first started, they released a lot of shot on video style films, and then they branched out and started to release kind of like some films that are like retro, like to us, in the sleaze aspect, and also in newer films also. So it's very interesting that this is a newer type film that they released, and it's a Swedish film, and it goes by the title of Feed the Light. Yes, look at that awesome cover art right there. This is directed by Henrik Moller, who did a lot of short films before this one. This is actually his feature-length debut film, and it was inspired by the HP Lovecraft story, The Color Out of Space, which is a very interesting story if you ever read it. It's been a while since I actually read that story, so bear with me if I try to get the similarities right. Pretty much what I learned from the interview with Muller on this release is that he kind of took the idea of what the color was that came from space, and he made his own version of the color and pretty much based this story around it pretty much. So pretty much the main plot of this one, we're introduced to our main character of Sarah, who's a single mother who actually lost custody of her daughter, and her daughter's father actually took her to this facility, and that's the last place they were seen. So what ends up happening is Sarah actually finds out this facility out and tries to find out what happened to her daughter and where her daughter is. But unbeknownst to her, that this facility is actually holding this secret light that these people are worshiping like a god. And pretty much what ends up happening is this light actually could enter into another dimension pretty much. And what ends up happening is one thing that happens in the film is there's these shadow creatures that feed off this light dust, and if you don't clean it up, they come out and attack you pretty much. If you're covered with this stuff, they'll come out and attack you and take you to their dimension pretty much. So Sarah ends up trying to figure out how to find her daughter through this dimensional rift, because we find out that her daughter is actually on the side of this other dimension, and it's pretty much them trying to find out where her daughter is and trying to survive and get out of this facility in time before it's too late. That is pretty much the main plot I'm going to give away with this one for you, because I don't want to really spoil what actually, pretty much that's the gist of the plot of it, but a lot of other things happen in this film that I don't want to really spoil. Now, my thoughts on it. Really interesting take on a ode to HP Lovecraft, with a hint of David Lynch style, cinematography in it, because actually I was reading about this film. It actually started out in color. They actually filmed the whole film in color. Henrik Muller actually said that in on IMDb. I was reading about it and stuff. But he decided to contrast and change it to black and white, which I think works for the film's benefit, because it has this great grainy atmosphere throughout it, especially with involving the light, and it makes the light stand out more. Pretty much the black and white does, and it has some cool color changes within it with certain aspects. Where I don't want to really spoil that for you either, but it's just a really cool thing when you do see color in this film, because it makes you smile at the same time. But yeah, very odd film, I have to say, especially with the story and the characters. We meet our janitor Martin, who's a very interesting character, and his character has character shifts throughout the film. And then we meet the boss. Not really sure if they tell her real name or not in the film, but she's a very sinister and mysterious character throughout it. And Martin and her have interactions that are very mysterious and spellbinding at the same time. And then we get to meet a lot of sub characters, the cleaning crew and stuff. That they're not really big characters in this film. They pretty much are there for the aspect ratio and time running, but they have very sinister looks to them. Some of them, they are very odd, and I like the characters because they change throughout the film too, with very great visuals. Like the special effects of this film for like a low budget indie like type film are unbelievable. Like certain aspects with like the shadow creatures, like I said, the effects that they do on them might not be the most like spellbinding effects ever, but they're look fucking awesome at the same time, especially with like the black and white grain and atmosphere, especially actually very interesting note actually when they go into another dimension, the black and white actually changes and turns and has kind of like this greenish tinge to it kind of teal. Kind of reminds me of like a Snake of June's type of like style cinematography, Shino Toscamato style, and it's really great. I love like this atmosphere. It makes like this new dimension like even more sinister in a way. You know what I mean? But really awesome film, and I highly enjoyed this one. The ending is an ending that you could take what it is for what it interprets. This film pretty much is a film that I think a lot of people have different opinions on, especially with like its Lichian vibes and its Lovecraftian vibes at the same time. So it's a really interesting watch, I have to say. If I had to rate Feed the Light, I actually highly love this film. I actually watched this 3 times before I decided to do a review because I wanted to get like the gist of it. This is a film that I think will benefit from rewatching it because certain aspects of it, like certain things that you haven't seen before, like when you first watch it, and you're like, oh my god, they explained it and stuff. But yeah, really fucking awesome trip. I really like this very beautiful cinematography, great acting, and great like atmosphere, and especially with that black and white, it's just amazing. I love like that style of filmmaking right here. So if I had to rate Feed the Light, I highly enjoyed this film. I loved it. I'm giving it a solid 9 out of 10. Awesome shit right here from Intervision. Great release. It has a 15-minute making of documentary where it goes through like the making of the film, and of course it has the interview with Henrik Muller that I talked about earlier with about the Lovecraft influence, where he talks about his love for Lovecraft, and that the film actually won at the Lovecraft Film Festival in Portland, Oregon. I believe that's where it was. So that was really cool that a lot of Lovecraftian fans actually did enjoy this film and gave it an award and gave it its props. So I highly recommend this release from Intervision. Awesome shit. I love this film. Awesomeness. Alright guys, that's it for this random review. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll be back soon with another one, guys. Peace out.